One of my very first supporters. All crazy.
He's like adding to my script.
Hey, isn't that kind of good?
Yeah. What's up, Ricky? What? Ah! Okay. What's up, you guys? That's perfect. Yeah.
Because it looks like you're looking at the camera.
Oh, okay. That's perfect. What is up, you guys? My name is Ricky from the Barber Institute. Today we're going to be doing a mid-drop fade on my brother Andy here. He's actually one of my first ever clients, somebody that I learned on. So I feel like it's only right to drop the first YouTube video with him. Let's get right into it. Alright, so let's break down the steps for the shear work. First thing I'm going to do is saturate my client's hair fully. And what I'm looking to do right now is I'm looking to comb the hair in the direction that it wants to lay for the preferred style. Now I'm going to go ahead and over direct the hair towards me, pull it out with about a 45-degree elevation, and create a squared shape for my client. When creating this base cut around the head, your fingers should be tight up against the head. This step is crucial to be able to blend in next with your guards. So right now I'm creating a cutting line going all the way around the head that I'm going to use as my stopping point for when I use my number 3 guard up to the head. What I'm doing here is separating the side part where it's going to go combed over, and I'm doing a block graduation shape all right here on the sides to create a square shape. This is going to make it a lot easier for me to come in with my clippers and then just blend right into it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm over directing all the long hair on top towards my block graduation on the sides, and I'm basically just blending in the top with the side cutting line that I created right under. I know the camera angle is kind of awkward right here, but bear with me. And after, if you do this correctly, you should have a nice shape, nice and blended in right here. Nice and square. There's my cutting line. Next, I'm going to go in and take horizontal sections for the top, making sure to use the guide that I just created on the longer side there to establish the length on top that I want. I almost always cut my glove when I'm cutting the top of the hair. There you go. Cut on my glove, but we're rolling through it. At least I didn't cut my finger. Next, I'm moving to the middle portion, following my traveling guideline, going horizontally. Making sure to take sections about the width of the comb, so I'm not grabbing big chunks of hair is key. Your clients will notice if you're just going in there and making 3 or 4 cuts on the top, because it will be uneven. Now I'm going to go ahead and cross-check the hair. Even though I took smaller sections, I'm still going in there and I'm still looking for those peaks and valleys to take off and make straight. Next, I'm going to go ahead and blow dry the client's hair. I never want to cut into the sides for the fade with the hair still wet. So always make sure to blow dry the hair in the preferred style that it's going to go to, so that I'm cutting into a finished canvas. There's my cutting line on the sides. I'm going to take my number 3 closed and come right up off of that cutting line that I created. It should literally be like butter right off the side of the head. You already did all the hard work. You're literally just going, I'm showing, you're going right off of the head, almost like if there was like an invisible wall coming off the head. That's the shape that you want to create. Doing the block graduation first with my shears on the side sets me up nicely right here for this number 3 guard. The reason why the number 3 guard blends in so nicely to the block graduation you did is because the 3 guard is roughly around the size of your fingers. If your fingers are right up against the head, should blend right in. Next, what I can come in and do is come and refine the shape with a little bit of clipper over comb, just to take out any peaks or any edges that I might have left in there. Now I'm going to be starting my bald line here with my clipper lever all the way closed. I love setting in the bald guideline here with the clipper closed. Super easy to remove, especially if you're a beginner. I mean, I've been cutting hair for over 10 years now, and this is still my preferred method to set in the bald line, especially if I don't have a soft trimmer on me. My next guideline here is going to be the clipper lever all the way open. This is probably one of the most important guidelines for the fade, as it is the guideline that it's going to be transitioning from skin to stubble, and then it's going to go into the darker gradients after that. So make sure to make this guideline nice and wide. Make sure to make your guidelines nice and neat, as it will determine the neatness of the fade and how clean it comes out. Next, I'm going to go in with my clipper halfway closed, and then I'm just going to be coming in, attacking that line, slowly working my way down. As I work my way down, I'm going to be closing up the lever notch by notch to fully remove that line. Guys, I am creating my guidelines going up, and then I'm removing them as I'm creating them. Especially if you're a beginner, it's super easy to get lost in your fade. So doing it this way, removing the guidelines as you create them, sometimes will help you not get as lost and be a little bit more neat and uniform in your fade. Guys, remember, this is my fading method. There's so many fading methods out there. The key is to master one fade method first, then go and start experimenting with other ones after that. Next guideline I'm going to be doing is my number 1 lever open. Making sure to go over it multiple times to make sure it's nice and neat. Next, I'm going to be removing that guideline with my half guard. Slowly closing the lever as I'm working down. The half guard, I'm making sure to use my corners and applying a light pressure. Remove these guidelines. You want to make sure that you're letting the clipper do the work and you're not putting too much pressure, because you'll create another line, or going too high, because again, you will create another line. This is kind of the part that you have to really practice with each and every client, is making sure you're having a light hand. Remember, we're blending, so we want to kind of use our clipper softly and use our corners almost kind of like a paintbrush to remove that line. Take your time with it, especially going towards the back. The hair is a lot thicker, a lot darker, so really make sure to go over it multiple times, and really make sure to take a step back at it, look at it from afar as well to see if there's any lines you're missing. Check your mirrors as well. Sometimes staring at the fade for too long, your eyes kind of start to get adjusted to what you're seeing, so sometimes you might need to look at the mirror or look away for a second to see if there's any lines that you need to remove. Now I'm just going and I'm detailing. I didn't show myself doing the other side. The video actually got cut off while I was filming, but this is the side that I did first. Now I'm just going in there and detailing it as I'm doing the other side. So this is my finished side, but I can still go in there and tap out some of the dark spots that I see here. I'm going back to the side that I'm working on. Now I just threw on my number 2 guard. So remember, the guard that we started with in the very beginning to debulk was the number 3 guard. Now I'm just working down from that 3 guard with my number 2 guard, being patient, taking my time with the clipper, really making sure that the hair is feeding through those clipper blades. Sometimes you really got to slow it down to make sure. I always like to hear that crunch, and then right when I hear that crunch, I flick out. Especially when there's a lot of indents and the head has a lot of different bumps and shapes. Take your time. I can't stress that enough. Sometimes going a little bit slower really helps to, get those dark spots out. Now I just threw on the 1.5 guard to connect the 2 and the 1 open that I made previously. Notice how I'm not going over that corner hook too much. I'm trying to make sure to keep that as dark as possible for when I do the lineup. Same thing with the 1.5 guard. As soon as I hear that crunch, I'm flicking out, taking my time, making sure that I can see the hairs feed through, making sure that I can hear and feel that crunch. Again, take your time towards the back. Back of the head is usually a lot thicker, so really be patient with the back side of the head past the ear. Then I threw on my number 1 guard, lever open, playing with the lever, just detailing. Right here, I'm not trying to set any lines. I'm just going in, see any dark spots that I couldn't remove with the 1.5. I'm using my number 1 to simply use my corners and detail that fade. Now I'm gonna pull out my secret weapon. This technique is definitely what allows me to get my fades a lot cleaner, a lot more blurry, a lot quicker. So I do my rough outline with my guards, and then I come in with trimmer over comb, but I'm going up. So a lot of people do trimmer over comb going sideways, but if you go up the way I'm doing it right now, it really helps you get those dark spots out of the fade. If you haven't tried it, I recommend it. Just be careful. You don't want to add any holes or make any other lines, but this is definitely my secret method that I like to do. Now I'm going to go in and line these C cups. I'm using my Coco trimmers. These are super sharp, so I'm just making sure that I have a light hand with these. I pretty much only use these to line up clients that don't have sensitive skin. Now I'm going in for the lineup. Got my brother smiling and laughing. I don't know what we were talking about, but so I'm going in with my 1.5, debulking the hairline right here. You want to make sure on this part you're not cutting into his top hairs. Throwing some hairspray. Have the client lean down and then towards you. Starting in the middle, working my way to the side, being patient. Now lining up the vertical bars here. I'm gonna go in and clean up his beard, or we're calling it a beard, but I mean, it's getting there. It's getting there. Struggle beard, but it's getting there. Making sure to use my straight razor. I'm going in dry here, so I'm really making sure to stretch the skin so I don't cut my client. Now I'm gonna go in with some styling product. I never wanna get my client out of the chair if the hair is not styled. To me, this is kind of like the finishing touch right here, putting the bow on it. Really makes a difference for the service that you're giving to your client. Styling him up. Doing some detail work right here with the hairline. And bam, this is the finished product. Appreciate you guys watching. Comment down below, let me know what type of tutorials you guys want to see next. And got my son walking right there.